Have you ever felt like you're just screaming into the void? You're trying to make yourself heard, but in a world that is just so loud, it can feel impossible. Well, today we're going to dig into why that is and maybe figure out what we can do about it.
So let's kick things off with a fantastic word that really gets to the heart of what we're aiming for: sonorous. It means having a deep, impressive sound. It's not just about being loud, it's about having a voice that resonates, A voice that has weight and makes people actually want to listen. That's the goal, right? And that brings us to this idea that the echo of our words, their impact, can stick around long after we've stopped talking. They kind of ripple through people's minds and leave a real impression. That's the power we're really talking about when we want to find our voice. So yeah, this is that sonorous ideal we're all reaching for. But what happens when our day-to-day reality feels like the complete opposite? Which, of course, leads us to the biggest question of all. When everyone's talking, when arguments get heated, when you feel that pressure to have the perfect comeback right now, how in the world do you carve out enough space to actually be heard?
So let's step away from the ideal for a minute and get real. Let's talk about what it feels like to have a voice that just gets lost in all that noise. It's a feeling I think a lot of us know all too well. That feeling that your voice is just kind of flimsy. Like it doesn't have the strength to hold its own when it gets pushed, and it's just way too easy to get steamrolled. And boy, does that feeling get worse under pressure. You're in a tense conversation, or someone comes at you with criticism, and instead of rising to the occasion, your voice just folds. It gets completely flattened by the attack with no way to push back.
And here's why that happens. It's not because you're not smart or you don't believe what you're saying. It's that your mind just goes blank. That perfect response, that crystal clear point you wanted to make, it's in there somewhere, but in that split second you need it, it's just gone. And this right here, this is the heart of the problem. On the outside, the world expects you to have this instant, witty, perfectly phrased argument, but on the inside, the reality is your brain just needs a second to process, to actually think things through. You know that gap between expectation and reality? It can lead to so much self-doubt. When you can't fire back right away, it is so easy to see it as a personal failure. Like you're weak. You start thinking your brain just isn't built for these moments. But is that really the truth? So, if firing back immediately isn't working, then what's the alternative? Well, this leads us to a totally different strategy: finding your own quiet corner. It's not about being quicker, it's about making space for yourself. See, the solution is to actually respect your own brain's process. Instead of trying to force a quick reply, the real power is in pausing. Just stop. Give yourself the permission to step back, gather your thoughts without all that pressure, and really mull it over. Suddenly, needing time isn't a weakness anymore. It's your method for deeper, better thinking. But okay, let's be realistic here. This strategy has its own challenges. You don't always have the luxury to just pause and think. And sometimes people will see that pause and think you're not paying attention or that you don't care. It means you kind of always have to have your guard up. And that brings us to, honestly, a really important point: acceptance. It's about looking at how your mind works and just saying, okay, this is me. It might feel like a curse in our super fast-paced world, but hey, it's the hand you were dealt. The goal isn't to become someone else, it's to get really, really good at playing your own hand. Because look, that outside noise, it's not going anywhere. The pressure, the demands, the interruptions, they are always going to be there, crashing in. The secret isn't trying to silence the world, because that's impossible. It's about building a little sanctuary for your thoughts right in the middle of it all. And this is just the perfect way to picture that sanctuary. Imagine a room filled with flickering, chaotic, distracting lights. Your quiet corner, it's that one single, steady, bright candle. It's a protected space inside your own head where you can go to do your real thinking, even when everything around you is chaos. So, let's wrap up with this. Finding your voice isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's about finding that quiet corner inside yourself where your thoughts can grow strong and become, well, sonorous in their own time. So the question I want to leave you with is this: where is yours?